Aloha everyone, it's Lorraine from the IT department reviewing the vulnerability assessment conducted over the Kioptrix Level 2 machine. Using Nessus, I performed a web application vulnerability scan that identified a critical unsupported PHP version. This finding indicates that the system is running end-of-life software that no longer receives security updates. Nessus was applied to identify known vulnerabilities and misconfigurations using signature-based and configuration checks. OWASP ZAP was used to analyze application level behavior and identified SQL injection vulnerabilities within the login functionality, as well as missing CSRF protections and security headers. OWASP ZAP was also used as a dynamic application security testing tool to actively probe input fields and HTTP requests for injection and access control issues, which shows ZAP SQL injections alerts. NICTO complemented these findings by confirming directory browsing, server banner disclosure, and additional misconfigurations. NICTO was also used for rapid reconnaissance and server misconfiguration discovery. Using multiple tools allowed me to correlate findings and reduce false positives while gaining deeper insight into both system level and application level weaknesses. One of the most significant findings was the unsupported PHP version identified by Nessus. Tracing this vulnerability to its root cause revealed a failure in patch management and system maintenance. Because the PHP version is end of life, it inherently contains unpatched security flaws that enable other vulnerabilities such as SQL injection and information disclosure. Based on the vulnerabilities preliminarily identified, I would hypothesize several attack vectors. A primary attack vector would be the SQL injection, which could allow authentication, bypass, and database compromise. Secondary attack vectors include exploiting outdated PHP functions for remote code execution, abusing directory browsing for sensitive file discovery, and leveraging missing CSRF protections to perform unauthorized actions. These vectors were selected due to their low complexity and high likelihood of success. Focusing on the unsupported PHP version, I hypothesize that this vulnerability arose due to legacy system deployment combined with a lack of ongoing maintenance. Research indicates that many organizations delay upgrades due to compatibility concerns, resource constraints, or operational oversight. As a result, outdated components remain in production. This increased exposure to known exploits and cascading security failures. For instance, A05 security misconfiguration, a root cause. The most significant OWASP category identified was security misconfiguration. Nessus detected an unsupported PHP version with a CVSS score of 10.0. That's high, indicating a critical failure in patch management. Additional misconfigurations such as missing HTTP security headers and exposed directories further increase the system's attack surface. In addition, A03, the injection, primary exploit path. SQL injection vulnerabilities confirmed by OWASP ZAP represent the most direct path to compromise. Improper input validation allows attackers to manipulate back-end database queries, potentially bypassing authentication and accessing sensitive data. A01 and A02 supporting weaknesses. These absence of CSRF protections and the use of unencrypted HTTP connections represent supporting weaknesses that reduce overall application security, but are secondary to the injection and misconfiguration risks. Vulnerability discovery and disclosure must align with legal and ethical standards. Conducting scans without authorization can violate laws such as the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Ethically, security professionals are responsible for minimizing harm and protecting user data. Industry standards such as Responsible Disclosure Guidelines and NIST SB 800 115 recommend that vulnerabilities be reported privately to system owners before any public disclosure. I recommend public disclosure only after the organization has had sufficient time to remediate the vulnerability or if there is an imminent risk to users that cannot be mitigated otherwise. In conclusion, the vulnerability assessment of Keyoptrix Level 2 demonstrates how outdated software and security misconfigurations can compound into critical risks. By applying flaw hypothesis methodology and correlating results from multiple tools, I was able to identify root causes, assess attack vectors, and evaluate responsible disclosure practices. This assessment highlights the importance of continuous patching, secure configuration, and ethical security testing. The vulnerability assessment mapped multiple findings to the OWASP top 10 with the most significant risks, categorized under A05, the security misconfiguration, A03, injection. An unsupported PHP version served as a critical root vulnerability, enabling additional exploit paths such as SQL injection. Supporting weaknesses related to access control and cryptographic failures were also observed, while no evidence of cross-site scripting vulnerabilities was identified. So that concludes our quick presentation of these vulnerabilities, but as always, I'm available for questions in the IT department. Aloha.